Alright, so as you probably heard over the past couple days, there's a big rumor going around that MODOK, a classic Marvel Comics villain, will be featured in Ant-Man 3, aka Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And we also know that Jonathan Majors is going to be in here as Kang the Conqueror, so we don't know the exact details if they're going to be working together, or one of them's the main villain, one of them's just a smaller villain. We don't know for sure, but supposedly MODOK will be in this movie. But the big question that was kind of going around with that first report was, alright, if MODOK's in this, who's playing him? And the article, which I believe was an exclusive from the Direct, first reporting that MODOK was going to be in this movie, said specifically that Jim Carrey would not be playing MODOK in this film. So that was the first debunk right there. But if it's not Jim Carrey, then who is playing MODOK? Well, now we finally know, or at least supposedly know, because we have a new report from Daniel RPK, aka Daniel Rickman, and this report has also been backed up by other sources, other reliable sources, including Geeks Worldwide and also My Time to Shine H on Twitter, another reliable scooper, both saying, or all three of them saying, that Corey Stoll is playing MODOK in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now, that name may sound familiar to you because this is an actor we already knew was going to be in this movie as Yellowjacket, because Corey Stoll played Darren Cross, aka Yellowjacket, the main villain of the first Ant-Man movie. So we got reports about that a couple months ago, that he was going to be making his return in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And that's honestly something I was really excited to see. I really wanted to see him return as Yellowjacket and be basically like a survivor in the quantum realm and then trying to get revenge on Scott Lang. I thought that'd be really, really cool to see featured in this film, especially since the movie's called Quantumania. So we're going to be exploring the quantum realm, and that's where Corey Stoll's Darren Cross kind of ended up after the first Ant-Man movie. So I thought it made a lot of sense, and I was really excited to see that. But now they're saying that Corey Stoll is MODOK in this movie. So, yeah, I don't really know exactly how to feel about this yet, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, no way, Jose, I don't like it. And the more I think about it, it does make sense in ways, but also in other ways, it's just like, I don't like it. But, yeah, so let's talk about this. So, first of all, you're probably wondering, alright, how does Darren Cross go from being Yellowjacket Darren Cross to all of a sudden becoming MODOK? How is that going to work? Well, again, like I said, it does kind of make sense in a way, because when Yellowjacket supposedly died in that first Ant-Man movie, we all know he didn't actually die, and that's why he's come back in this film. He was actually just shrunken down into the quantum realm. But what's really interesting about it is because in that scene where he was shrinking, you notice that it first started with his arm, and then his other arm. So it was like all of his body parts were shrinking, but the last to shrink was his head. And of course, that's kind of MODOK's thing, is that he's literally a giant floating head with like tiny arms and tiny legs. So that could already be one possible explanation for this case in this scenario. But then also there was actually an Easter egg earlier this year in Loki, I believe it was episode 5, where there was an actual giant Yellowjacket helmet in the I forgot what the place was called, but where all the other Lokis were hanging out, classic Loki and Kid Loki and all those characters, there was a giant Yellowjacket helmet, which at the time we just thought was, oh, cool Easter egg. But now maybe that was foreshadowing that we're going to be seeing a giant floating head of Yellowjacket with tiny arms and tiny legs. So, like I said, that is where it does kind of make sense for Darren Cross to become MODOK. But at the same time, again, I just don't like it, because MODOK is a character I've been wanting to come to the MCU for the longest time, and I still want him to. I really want MODOK to be in this movie, but I'm not sure I want him to be in the movie in this way, though, because it just completely changes the character's origins, and I don't know. Because the more I think about it, it works, but also doesn't work at the same time, because you get rid of the whole thing of Dr. George Tarleton, who basically did experiments on himself and then turned himself into MODOK, but you can bring back elements of that character and kind of mix them in with Darren Cross. So maybe Darren Cross has now been mutated within the quantum realm, has become MODOK, and then you could still bring in AIM here. Maybe he goes back into the real world, and since we know Darren Cross is a scientist and he was trying to take over PIM Technologies, maybe he takes over AIM Technologies, Advanced ID Mechanics. That'd be another opportunity that we could see possibly explored here. But yeah, again, it's just really weird and unexpected, because we all knew Corey Stoll was back in this movie as Darren Cross Yellowjacket, but again, I thought he was coming back as Yellowjacket. Like, who would have thought he was going to be back as MODOK? It just is weird. But like I said, I did really enjoy the character of Darren Cross, aka Yellowjacket, in that first movie. He's a really underrated villain in the MCU, and really one of the main reasons I like that character so much is really because of Corey Stoll. Like, that was a character that was very underwritten, but just because of the charisma from Corey Stoll, I feel like he really brought that character to life with the emotions and like his loss of sanity. I really enjoy that character, and I'd like to see him again, but I don't know. It just sounds weird. But again, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense, and the more I start to like it. But at the same time, I don't know, because Corey Stoll just isn't the kind of guy that I imagine playing MODOK. Although there is a rumor on top of this that he would not be the actual like face model of MODOK, but instead just be like the voice of the character. Which Corey Stoll has a really great voice, and again, with that charisma, could really do a great job as the voice of MODOK, but then it just makes me wonder, like, what would MODOK actually look like, and how would they explain that it's the same person if it's just, like, a giant, like obviously we're expecting that MODOK is going to be completely CGI, but we kind of figured that it would be, like, the actor's face, just huge, but maybe they're not doing that. Maybe it's just a giant CGI MODOK from the comics with the voice of Corey Stoll, which, honestly, I'd be cool with. I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't mind that. And then I even saw some rumors that, or no, not rumors, but theories after this report made its rounds online, that maybe after Darren Cross first made his way into the quantum realm and he was just like a giant head and, you know, tiny shrunken arms and stuff like that, and shrunken limbs and everything, that maybe Kang the Conqueror, who is rumored to be living in the quantum realm, possibly found him, repaired him, gave him this giant floating mechanical chair like MODOK has in the comics, and then maybe took him under his wing and basically became like his second in command, like a henchman of Kang the Conqueror, which honestly is another thing I wouldn't mind seeing, because obviously MODOK is a big, powerful character that can be a villain on his own, but he also works as a henchman because that's kind of how he started off. Like, my first introduction to MODOK was in Iron Man the Animated Series from the 90s, where MODOK that's literally what he did. He was just second in command to the Mandarin. So he could possibly play a similar role here to Kang the Conqueror, which honestly I wouldn't mind seeing. So again, it's really weird and just not all what I expected. So it's going to take me some time to process it. But the fact that we do have 3 different reliable sources reporting on this, I have a feeling it's true. And again, this could be either really good or really bad. But like I said, the more I think about it, the more it actually starts to make sense. And when I first saw this news, I absolutely hated it. But now, after this like 7, almost 8 minutes of video time talking about this, I'm starting to like the idea of it a little bit more. It's starting to make a little more sense. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about this news, or at least rumor? Again, take this with a grain of salt for now until it's like officially confirmed that Corey Stoll is returning as Darren Cross Yellowjacket in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, but will be transformed into MODOK for this film. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.